More news to get to. The results are in. We're moving on to politics now. And Senator Rand Paul, he's the favorite from CPAC. For the second year in a row, the U.S. Senator from Kentucky won the Conservative Conference's annual straw poll. Paul finished with 31% of the vote. He nearly tripled Senator Ted Cruz's 11%. They were followed by neurosurgeon Ben Carson at 9% and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie with 8%. If the straw poll is to be believed, Senator Marco Rubio's stock has fallen in a big way. After finishing in second place last year with 23% support, Rubio came in seventh this time with around just 6% of the CPAC vote. Coming off his CPAC victory, Senator Paul looked to differentiate himself from the runner-up.
What do you think of Ted Cruz's practice of confronting, sometimes putting Senate Republicans, his colleagues, in tough situations?
You know, I guess I would just say that everybody has their own style. My style is that I stand for things, and I think people don't question whether I stand for principle, but I don't spend a lot of time trying to drag people down. I've been very complimentary of Mitt Romney. I met him. I think he's a great guy. Can we do things different to get the party bigger? There's always ways we can get bigger, particularly when we don't win. But I don't spend any time sort of trying to criticize others in the party, because I realize the party has to be bigger, not smaller.
All right. Well, Steve Redner tweeting this morning.
What's that?
Not very nice.
I thought it was nice.
What? Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Holy cow. I can't believe Mika is wearing that on...
No, that's not what that says.
Do I really have to sit next to her? Wow.
Is it bad?
Wow,
I think it's nice. I have hives again.
I think that's all.
So I'm covering my
to
neck.
say about Mika, why are you tweeting that?
No, I did
I
not.
have hives on weekends.
Pick up a couple of followers.
What I did not tweet that. What I tweeted was that Democrats should be delighted if Rand Paul gets nominated, because he is just a wacko bird who doesn't sound like a wacko bird.
Oh. Wait, a wacko bird in sheep's clothing?
Not elitist.
Wait,
I'm
not
elitist.
He's not a wacko bird.
Oh, yeah?
You may disagree with him.
Oh, wait a minute. A guy who wants to cut 83% of funding from the Department of Education, who wants to abolish HUD, who wants to cut 40% from Homeland
and wants
spending,
to hold Hillary Clinton accountable for her husband's affairs. Just
says he will never vote to raise the debt ceiling without a balanced budget amendment. I don't think so, Joe.
Okay.
So is Hillary already giving you those talking points?
No, I looked them up all by myself.
But you then forwarded them on to Hillary 2016. So what's interesting? What's your takeaway from CPAC, Willie?
Well, Rand Paul, I'm not terribly surprised he won. He won the straw poll last year. He's very popular
his dad
there.
would always win.
His dad always won. That's right. I think Chris Christie, the reception he got there was interesting to look at. He got rousing ovations when he began and when he left, and I think Chris Christie just for a moment there this week reestablished himself among conservatives at least.
What do you think, Mika?
I think that they had a lot of tired messages, and the only new message is one that you've been saying for 6 years, and that is that, you know, I think Chris Christie actually touched on it and had a pretty good speech, but that the party has to open up, you know, try and focus on winning and reframe its message to the point where they are open to different types of Republicans. But again, you know, like when you hear something like that, you realize that's what we've been saying around here. You've been leading the charge for years now, and they're sort of just beginning to say it now. Otherwise, everything they said made me snore.
Well, they are saying it, and Rand Paul, actually, with all apologies to Mr. Park Avenue over here, silk stocking billionaire. He is trying to bring the party into a new direction. You like that?
Yeah.
A new direction.
Ted Cruz said it too, actually.
Yeah, and by the way, Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
I was thinking about this about Ted Cruz. So
that's who it was.
I've been complimentary of Ted Cruz as we've moved forward, and I think he's trying to expand out and doing it internally. But we were talking about how great he was speaking off the cuff, and speaking off the cuff is a great thing to do if you can do it. But sometimes a word or two gets mangled. I know, because I speak off the cuff all the time.
Really?
And boy, he really stepped into it. And I don't think he meant to, with Bob Dole. But when he said Bob Dole didn't believe in anything, basically, and then John McCain said, yeah, well, what did he believe in when he left part of himself
in Italy
on a mountaintop in Italy? I don't know if Ted's followed up with that. I know he didn't mean anything by that, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you're poking and prodding at people and acting like you're the only self-righteous guy in the gang. He managed to hit two out of 3 war heroes.
Did you read his staff's response to that? Whoever.
No, I didn't. Was it
Basically, it was, you know, this is such a peripheral issue that we shouldn't even be dealing with it.
No.
His statement on Bob Dole was regarded by a member of his staff as a peripheral issue, or some such word, that we shouldn't even.
Well, it's the sort of stuff you clean up and move on.
You clean up and move on.
He has to clean it.
He needs to
But,
clean
I
it
mean,
up,
it's
and
so
I don't think
easy.
anybody knows that he meant that. He was talking about. Listen, I write basically the same thing in my book, that you win when you elect conservatives ideologically who are moderate temperamentally, and I said it's no coincidence that moderates like Gerald Ford and Bob Dole and John McCain and Mitt Romney and George H.W. Bush in '92 after taxes all lost. So, but I mean, but he does need to clean it up.
Don't act like
I have a question. I have a question. I mean, the word conservative can mean many things. I mean, it has many definitions to it.
Right.
But what does it say about a group, CPAC, where the most popular speaker they had, the one who received the most rousing reception, is a moron, Sarah Palin?
Okay.
I mean, she received a reception at that group that took the roof off the place. Sophomoric, nearly libelous, not amusing. What does it say about that group?
Yeah.
Well, you're just not being nice.
Well, back on the Ted Cruz kerfuffle, in terms of saying something that maybe doesn't...
An apology for calling her that.
No, something more. I mean, when you talk about the people who are real players in this, Ted Cruz on the Bob Dole.
Wait, how did he we're
I've been
being
trying to
nice,
say
and Mike
something for 30
Barnacle
seconds.
gets the bus, and he just drives it right
I know.
into a cliff.
And you should have just let me talk, because then that bus wouldn't have been driven off the street.
No, he
Thank you, Mike.
Go ahead.
No, but Ted Cruz should have cleaned that up immediately. It was a dumb thing to say. I said something, we talk off the cuff here, on Friday that was ridiculous. And I didn't make my point, and it insulted veterans. And first thing, I went on Twitter, I made an apology. It didn't make sense. The first thing you do is clean it up, especially if you didn't exactly mean it that way. And Ted Cruz probably could have found a better example. Why can't he say it? Just say it. Just clean it up and move on. No, don't have your staff say it's peripheral.
Barnacle can apologize for saying that about Sarah Palin.
Right after Ted does.
I apologize to all veterans for what I said on Friday.
John McCain said he had a conversation with Ted Cruz on the Senate floor the next morning about his comment. I would have loved to have been privy to that conversation.
Yeah.
John might have let him.
All right, now I really wanted to see Ratner's charts.
We'll
You're
get
hiding
later.
them.
It's a long show.
You must
They're
do it.
long charts.
No.
Goes on and on.
They're important.
I didn't
because
see Sarah Palin. How did she do? She did pretty well, right?
No.
Everybody was excited about her. Right?
They loved her there.
Good. I'm going to have to see it. I did not see that speech.
You want to see it?
It was a crowd pleaser.
Let's show everyone.
Good. It's a crowd
It was a
pleaser.
crowd
Okay.
That's
pleaser,
good.
There's
Well,
no
then-
That's why they brought her.
All right, so now we're here.
Line.
It's out there. It's not something we wanted to talk about, but we will show it.
Cheerleading. I mean, it's
was
good. I mean, you
Get a
know,
bite ready.
You do that, and then Rush came on a couple of years back, and I mean, it's
She's a good performer.
Yeah, she's a great performer, and you leave them
See,
smiling,
I don't get
Mike.
it.
And so come on.
It's entertainment.
It is.
Nobody's going to vote for it. It's entertainment.
Come on.
Except,
You
okay,
guys need to
I think
lighten up. Barnacle, you need to lighten up. The kids are just having fun. Okay? Just like
multi-million-dollar moron
what are you
selling a
talking about?
message.
Stop saying that.
that
You don't
the
think that,
extreme
right?
Love to gobble up. What's
You
that?
don't think that. She's a very smart woman. You think she's a smart woman, right?
I think she's savvy in terms of
Very
selling a
savvy.
message that makes a lot of money.
She's very savvy.
I know, a very smart woman.
Very savvy, and she believes.
I think that's
She believes what she believes, right, Mika?
I think that it's.
Even though you disagree with her.
Does she believe what she believes?
And there's a lot to really admire about her, as you've said before. A mom of 5.
Sure.
Professional.
Sure, I could
All
find.
right,
Oh,
very
it's
good.
not
Coming
a
up on
commercial.
Morning Joe,
What's
the
that?
mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, is going to be
I can't
here
wait. I
on
love
set.
his pre-K
We're also
stuff.
going to be talking to U.S. Senate candidate Congressman Tom Cotton. I love him from Arkansas.
Oh, no, I'm
and
gonna get
later,
beat up.
Foreign policy expert Ian Brzezinski. Ian joins the conversation. He's just back from Ukraine. Was actually,
going to start a family fight at the dinner
He sent
table.
us a picture from the barricades.
Yes, he did.
And really intense stuff. He didn't tell his parents he was going.
Oh, boy.
Because
My dad and he disagree.
well, they do, but I'm also
I know.
it was pretty dangerous. Anyway,
Okay.
coming up next, we got the top stories in the political.
But first, let's go to Bill Cairns with a check on the forecast. Bill.
Well, good Monday morning. We have a new storm to talk about moving across the country. This one is going to bring significant winter weather to northern New England, but that may be about it. This one looks to be a little warmer, and a lot of us would love some of that rain to clean things up. Well, let's talk about today's forecast first, because today's just a beautiful day. I mean, D.C., what a stretch you had. It was a great weekend, especially Saturday was nice, a great Monday, even Philadelphia, too. And then further to the north, where we still have a lot of deep snow on the ground, it won't be as warm. And that's the problem in northern New England. You got such a deep snowpack, it's really hard to warm you up this time of year. And this is our 7-day snow total estimates. This isn't the official forecast, but just to give you a general idea of what our computers are painting. They're thinking there will be snow on the ground from areas of northern Ohio through central Pennsylvania, southern New England, but those areas will more or less go rain over to snow in the end. Once you get north of the Mass Pike and the New York State Thruway, up around Albany, Burlington, Montpelier, all the way through Maine, the Bangor area, we could be talking about a significant snowstorm for you. And again, the timing of it, even for Boston, Wednesday looks to be kind of a wintry mess for you, and then getting colder into snow. I mean, 25 degrees this time of year for a high during the daylight hours is a very cold day by March standards, and that's what you'll deal with in Boston. As far as the rest of the country goes, it doesn't look like this storm will cause too much trouble, with the exception of some snow there, Montana, Idaho, and into Montana. You're watching Morning Joe.